Okay, so picture this. Someone who's just terrible at giving instructions to their team. They boil things down way too much, right? Like, get this done by such and such a time. Got it? Go! And you're like, okay. The problem is, that kind of vague, just do it approach, it actually makes your team worse. If you don't explain why something needs to be done and just bark orders, people end up thinking they only need to follow instructions to the letter. They become robots waiting for commands. And guess what happens then? They can't adapt to changes. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a scenario. You tell someone to deliver a really nice bottle of wine to a very important client. Simple, right? They come back later, mission accomplished. Great. Did they like it? You ask. Well, they say, they don't drink alcohol. So what happened? Well, I gave them the wine anyway. What? You should have gotten them something else. But they just followed the instruction. I was told to give them wine. That's not being helpful. The goal is to make the client happy. The wine was just a means to that goal. Delivering it when they can't drink it just makes everyone miserable. But I completed the mission, they might argue. No, you followed the instructions like a robot. Why didn't you think on your feet? Why couldn't you adapt? Does that sound familiar? It happens all the time, right? The problem is that the initial explanation was too focused on the what, not the why. When reporting to your boss, keep it concise and focus on what they need to know. But with your team, the opposite is true. Share the reasoning behind the task. Here's what you should do. Hey, can you deliver something to Mr. or Ms. Client? They're celebrating their anniversary. I want to do something nice for them, but I'm not sure if they even drink wine. So, if they don't, get them something else. The whole point is to make them happy. See the difference? They understand the objective. That way, if you tell someone to be there at a certain time, they understand why. We need to be there early because we're going hiking. If it's pouring rain, they can say, "Hey, it's raining. Should we reschedule?" But if you just say, "Be there at 8 a.m. and they don't know why, they'll stand there in the pouring rain waiting for a hike that's obviously not happening. "But you told me to be here at 8 a.m. "Yeah, for hiking. Use your brain." The point is, if your team is constantly doing boneheaded things, it's often because the purpose isn't clear. So, make it clear that they should ask questions. Create an environment where it's okay to say, "Why are we doing this?" Don't get angry at them for asking. In fact, the people who ask why are often your best people. Explain the reasons, the background, everything. That's the key to good instruction. Okay, we've covered how to communicate with your team and your boss. Now, what about customers and investors? What are the common mistakes people make when trying to get money from others? Here's a big one. Don't start with the conclusion. Don't start by saying, "Please buy my product," or "This new product has amazing features." People will tune you out. Think about YouTube videos. The thumbnails don't say, "I'm going to talk about X." They tease you. The one thing you need to be rich. It's the same with quiz shows. They don't reveal the answer right away. The answer after the commercial break. They build suspense. Imagine watching a mystery movie where they tell you who the killer is at the beginning. No fun, right? The whodunit is the whole point. Good advertising should be the same way. It should make you curious. What is this? It's all about entertainment. The goal is to excite and delight, not just to deliver information. Sales is the same way. Build a relationship first, then subtly mention what you're selling. Here's another huge mistake people make when pitching to clients. Trying to sound too smart and ending up shooting themselves in the foot. This usually happens with word choice and presentation materials. People start using complicated jargon to impress their clients. They don't want to sound stupid, so they try to sound intelligent using big words. But guess what? The client doesn't understand. And when people don't understand, they get annoyed. Why? Because they feel like you're trying to show off, or even worse, that you're trying to make them feel stupid. Remember, everyone is afraid of looking foolish. If you're using a bunch of words they don't know, they're going to shut down. Studies show that if people don't understand 20% of what you're saying, they stop listening. So, how do you avoid this? Use simple language. I know, it's hard. It's actually much harder to explain something in simple terms than to use jargon. If someone shows signs that they understand, then you can adjust and use more technical terms. But always start simple. Always explain things in a way that the least knowledgeable person in the room can understand. Also, be careful with your presentation materials. Don't cram too much information onto each slide. If you show someone a slide that's packed with text, they're going to tune out. Think of it like a children's storybook. One picture, one idea. Simple and clear. Always put the audience first. What do they need to understand? How can you make it easy for them? The key is to always prioritize the person you're speaking to. If you focus on yourself, on trying to look smart or make things easier for yourself, you'll always be a bad communicator. Be thoughtful, be considerate, and always remember that it's not about you, it's about them.